What's going on, guys and gals? My name is William Clark and welcome to a video. So in this video I am going to be talking about something I've been wanting to talk about for the longest time. My top 5 video game systems. Now, as we know, as most of us, if not all of us know, there are fucking thousands of game systems, even the shitty ones like Tiger Electronics and whatever. You know, even PC and mobile phones are considered, video game systems because you can do gaming on them. But I'm talking about real game systems, like the DS, Game Boy, Atari, GameCube, Wii, Xbox, PlayStation, all these systems that actually are meant for gaming. They're not meant for, whatever PCs are used for. Yeah, there are gaming PCs that are built for that purpose of gaming. And mobile phones, yes, there are gaming phones much for that same purpose. But I'm here to talk about real systems. And here are my top 5. Number 5 is starting out with the Game Boy Advance / the Game Boy Advance SP. And the Game Boy Advance, it was awesome at the time. I mean, you had updated graphics, better sound chips for music, you had things that remind you of the Super Nintendo, a portable version of the Super Nintendo, graphic-wise and stuff. I mean, look at it. Link to the Past. I mean, that game looks like it was on the Super Nintendo. Oh, wait! It was! Some games were ported on to the Game Boy Advance from the Super Nintendo. They had so much games, so much awesomeness. All the games that I own, I don't have even half of the library. And if you count in all the Japanese exclusives that were only released, obviously, in Japan, I don't even have a goddamn quarter of these games. So, there's a lot to choose from. I mean, a lot to choose from. But when the Game Boy Advance SP came out, ho ho, you bet your motherfucking testicles and ovaries that this was updated. It was better than the Game Boy in some regards. Yeah, it had the same graphics, obviously, as fucking Game Boy Advance SP. But also, it had a backlight. A fucking backlight. Now, back in the day, on the Game Boy Advance, you had to buy an accessory that didn't exactly work the way you wanted it to. But if you didn't have that, you had to either go outside, ugh, fuck that, or be close to a light, and the light would actually glare, which I fucking hated. So that's the only thing that's keeping the Game Boy Advance and the SP from being higher. I mean, the Game Boy Advance should have had the, backup battery lights thing, the backlight. So, yeah. But also, one thing I didn't really like about the Game Boy Advance SP is that it didn't have a headphone jack. So, if you were watching fucking Sonic X or even fucking Shrek, oh my god, people could hear you. They could be like, oh shit, you're watching Shrek on the Game Boy Advance. And let me talk about that for a little bit. The Game Boy Advance also had these things called Game Boy Advance Video. I have 1 or 2 of those. I have no idea where they are. But they basically allow you to watch episodes, parts of episodes, from certain franchises like Sonic X, Pokemon, Shrek, all that good shit. Right on your Game Boy Advance. Yeah, it was pretty poor and shitty, but what we had back then was great. Beautiful. Amazing. Yay. So number 5 is the Game Boy Advance / Game Boy Advance SP. Number 4 is the Xbox 360. Oh shit, I can hear a lot of people going all berserk right now. But fuck it. I have reasons for the Xbox and stuff. The Xbox 360 is a fucking amazing console, don't get me wrong. I love the games that are on it, and the original games like Halo and Gears of War are some of the best. Best you'll ever find. And the system is actually, I think, geared more towards adults And here's how I see it. Nintendo is family friendly for the most part. Sony's in the middle, some family friendly games, and some bloody, gory games. While Xbox is just full-fledged, kill everything. Yeah, there are a few games, but it's geared more towards the adults. And all that. And the games are awesome. You know, even the third party, I think it has slightly updated graphics than the PS3. Slightly. I noticed a difference while playing Sonic Unleashed on the Xbox and on the PS3. The graphics on the 360 were better, more smoother, ran a little bit better. But not so much that I would prefer the 360 version over the PS3. Now, I do have some issues that are keeping it from being higher on the list. One of those things is the Xbox 360 controller. Oh, fuck me. I think these things are designed to break. Like, because I went to some of my friends' house back in the day. They had 360s, and their controllers sucked ass. My controller sucks ass. And they only said they had the controller for like a month or two. Maybe a little bit more than that, but it shouldn't break like that. And it's expensive to get a new one. And while we're talking about expensive shit, the Kinect. Oh my god, the Kinect is so expensive on the 360. Basically, Microsoft is, while, you know, they have games that are geared more toward adults and shit, you know, they are basically greedy. You pay a lot for the system. You gotta pay a lot to replace your controller. You gotta pay a lot to get the Kinect. And let's talk about some of the games. Oh my god. I think some of the copies of certain games are more expensive on the 360 than the PS3 or Wii or anything at the time, even the PC versions. Because they have two discs. One disc usually involving the main game, and the second disc either being DLC, extras, / bonus content, or multiplayer. In Battlefield 3, you know, the first disc is basically multiplayer, but the second disc is single player. So that kind of turns me off a little bit from Xbox. But another thing, you have to pay to play online with your friends. Oh, I got Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Let's play online. Oh, you gotta have a gold membership to play it. What the fuck? You didn't have to do this on PlayStation. Why the fuck do you gotta pay for Xbox? Xbox Live Gold. Or just Xbox in general, not just Gold, but anything. If you want to be basic and play with your friends online, it's gonna cost you. And that in itself, when you have PSN, mostly the same games, you know, all these third-party titles, and some awesome first-party titles such as God of War and stuff. I mean, it's better to play online on the PS3, and fuck, even on PC, than the Xbox 360. So that's why the Xbox 360 is number 4. Between the controller being a piece of shit and the overall fact that everything on the 360, the accessories and replacing parts of the 360 are expensive, you know, controllers and everything else. And the fact you have to pay to play online with people, pretty much. You have to get some sort of membership. Unless you got a free membership, but those last for like 2 days. So yeah, that's the only thing those are the only things keeping it from being higher up on the list. Number 3 is the Xbox 360. Ha! Psych! You thought I was going to do that again. You thought the 360 was going to be on there twice? Oh, no. No. That's not how I roll here on the channel. Number 3 is the PS3, also known as the PlayStation 3. PS3 is basically a 360. You know, it has most of the same games on the 360, you know, or as a 360, Yeah, it's got its own original titles, like the fucking God of Wars I mentioned before. It's also got things like Little Big Planet and some other stuff, and eye cameras and stuff. But it's a lot cheaper. Buying the system is cheaper than the Xbox, for first thing. Second thing, you don't have to pay to play online with people on the PS3, on PSN on the PS3. And the fact the controllers are actually better. Better made, they're a little bit cheaper if you want to replace them, and everything about the system is slightly better than the 360. I mean, the graphics in some of the games are better on the 360 than the PS3, as I mentioned before, with Sonic Unleashed. But, well, fuck it. You know, it's not that big of a difference to me, even though there's a little smoother gameplay on the 360 port than the PS3. But, all in all, the PS3 is better than 360, and that's why the PS3 is better. Also, it's a whole lot easier to navigate, actually. There's one thing I didn't mention about the 360 is that the 360, some things are hard to navigate. You can't actually copy all that much things to the Xbox. Yeah, you got your save data, but you can't copy music, pictures, or videos or anything. You probably could, but I just haven't found it. But on the PS3, it's really easy. You get a flash drive, stick it in, find whatever music, videos, or pictures you want to put on it, and you copy it pretty much. Now, one thing is it doesn't work on GIFs. You can't see moving images. You have to convert them to an MP4 if you want to actually see the GIFs. So, that's another thing. Now, number 3 is the PS3. There you go. Now, number 2 is the Nintendo Wii. Yeah, the fucking Nintendo Wii. Nintendo Wii is fucking awesome. I'm gonna tell you why. Great games. This is a very underrated system. Not a lot of people actually like the Wii or talk a lot about it as they should. I mean, they should definitely talk more about it. And one thing that hardly anybody mentions is the fact that you can homebrew this thing. The Wii is so easy. So easy to homebrew. Yeah, the PS3 and the Xbox can be a little tricky to homebrew, pretty much. Yeah, the PS3, it's pretty much, you gotta get like the fucking slim, and you gotta get a certain model, you gotta do all these steps. But the Wii is really easy to homebrew. And also, the Wii has channels completely different from the other Nintendo systems and other systems in general. The Nintendo Wii has a very unique style, very unique amount of games. Well, yes, some of the games are pretty much copies and carbon copies of GameCube, but just ported over. That, it's still a great system. You have Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn. Best fucking game on the Wii. And one of my top 10 games of all time. Not number 1, because that's Mario Kart Double Dash. But speaking of Double Dash, and speaking of GameCube, you can play GameCube games on the Wii if you have the proper model. I have both the models. I have the one that can't play backwards compatible games, and the ones that can. I currently have the modded version of the Wii, where I can play GameCube games and shit. But that's the great thing. Not only do you have a vast library of Wii games, 99.2 or 1% are shovelware, and they're not really all that great. They're meant to be shit. But the very few, like 2/3 of the library, are that way. But the other games that are not shit are good. Yeah, of course, if they're not shit, they're great. Like I said, Fire Emblem, Sonic Colors, Sonic Unleashed. Well, that one's not as good as the other two ports on the 360 and Xbox. Or the 360 is the Xbox. You fucking idiot. And also the PS3. God damn, I can't talk properly. But overall, I mean, even though there's a lot of shovelware and a lot of bullshit, and the fact that Nintendo shut down the Wi-Fi pretty much for the Wii and the DS, it's still a fun console. It's really great, and there are some parts in the game where you can mod certain games. You can mod Mario Kart Wii. I fucking love modding Mario Kart Wii. And you can play online with people that also have modded Mario Kart Wii. So, there's that. There's a whole list of ROM hacks, and, well, not ROM hacks, just hacks in general for Mario Kart Wii, so enjoy that, because it's beautiful. Now, let's get to some honorable mentions. The Game Boy, I'm also gonna mention the Game Boy Color. Now, the Game Boy and Game Boy Color, they're great systems, you know, great handhelds. You know, the Game Boy is what started Pokemon, and the Game Boy Color added color to these games. And I think the Game Boy was, you know, was awesome. The Game Boy Color, I think was backwards compatible with the Game Boy. Yeah. I have a fake version of Pokemon Red that actually has color on the fucking Game Boy Color. But, you know, the Game Boy and Game Boy Color, it lacks in a lot of stuff. The Game Boy Advance and DS and all that other systems, they added to it and they make it to where it's pretty much not worth it. It's not worth getting the Game Boy or Game Boy Color unless you collect video game systems and video games in general. Now, speaking of the Game Boy, we're going to be talking about the Game Boy Micro. Another video game system I think is underrated. Now, sure, you can't play nearly as much games on the Game Boy, you know, the fucking Game Boy Micro. You can't. It's impossible. You can't play Game Boy or Game Boy Color, so there's really no point in really buying it. It's more of like a novelty kind of thing, you know, but it is beautiful. It's a nice system. I like it. I like the Game Boy Micro because it's smaller and it's more portable. And it's got that backlight. That goddamn backlight that the Game Boy Advance SP came with. Pretty much. Now, also, I forgot to mention, one model of the Game Boy Advance SP has better backlighting than the other one. So, pick your model. Nintendo DS is up next, and also DSi XL. The DS Lite, and the original Nintendo DS, both were backwards compatible with Game Boy Advance. Same problem with the Game Boy Micro, in that you couldn't really play Game Boy or Game Boy Color, so, yeah. But overall, the games that were on the DS are pretty good. They're pretty decent. And, it's actually worth getting one. DSi, it adds features. Lots of features. Such as, you know, Pick the Chat and Flipnote Studios, which you can actually use to access Homebrew on the Wii. Well, not the Wii, but the DS. Now, DSi XL is the same exact thing as DSi, except with a bigger screen and a bigger overall system. Fuck yes, go with that. Let's just go with that. It's all you need. Now, what about my number one pick? I'm pretty sure you probably saw this a mile away. You probably saw this coming. The Atari 2600, woo! Yeah, the Atari 2600 is a fucking awesome system. You had ET, you had fucking pornographic games. Now I'm just fucking around. It's the Nintendo GameCube. And Nintendo GameCube is my number one video game system of all time. Because goddamn, look at this system. The system is so fucking amazing. So gorgeous, so beautiful. Now, you got a lot of original games. You got Tales of Symphonia. You got Fire Emblem, Path of Radiance. You had Pokemon Channel, Pokemon Next to Gale of Darkness, Pokemon Coliseum. You had Mario Kart Double Dash, and all these other games. And all these beautiful, amazing games. Hardly any GameCube game was bad. But wait! There's more! There's an add-on / accessory for the GameCube, known as the Game Boy Player. Now, what does the Game Boy Player do? Simple. It plays Game Boy games, Game Boy Advance games. But wait! There's more! It also plays Game Boy Color and Game Boy games. So that's basically the ultimate system right there. You got the GameCube with already a whole bunch of video games on the system, but you have to add on the Game Boy Player, which allows you to play even more games, and even more games, and even more games. It's like the ultimate game console here. It would be better if it had some features that were on the PS2 and Xbox, but fuck it. You know, who needs those when you have an ultimate system like this? The GameCube also... I'm not just saying that because of my nostalgia, even though it is a big part of it. You know, the GameCube is the best system, not just because of nostalgic memory, but based on what it can hold. Now, yes, it is true that the third-party games, compare those to like the PS2 and Xbox, they're not as good graphically, and sometimes frame rate wise. But fuck it, graphics are not everything, people. Graphics are not everything. Just because you have a realistic looking game doesn't make it good. You know, it's the control, it's the gameplay, it's everything. And the GameCube has fucking amazing, beautiful, awesome video games to play. Even the sports titles, which I downright despise sports games, are actually decent. Playing football or baseball or bowling or anything like that on the GameCube is better than playing it on any other platform. I've played some sort of football game on the PS3. It's not as good as if I were playing it on the GameCube. You know, the GameCube, there's something about it. The overall graphics, and everyone talks about the GameCube. They don't talk much about the PS2 or Xbox. Even though the PS2 was an amazing system, which is also another one on my honorable mention list. But the GameCube is where it's at. Best system ever. Enough said. And if you disagree with me, fight me. I will fight you. I will be like, yeah? You want to tell me the Sega Genesis is better than the GameCube? Come on. Doesn't have that much games as opposed to the GameCube. And the Game Boy Player add-on. Boom boom. Yes, the Game Boy Player is expensive, but once you get the Game Boy Player, you are all set. You are set for life. Well, until your GameCube breaks down, you have to buy a new one. Yeah, I actually had to buy a new GameCube because the one that I had been using all these years stopped working. I didn't play the GameCube for a couple of years. I played the Wii. What would he fucking do? But, you know, all these video game systems are beautiful in their own way. It doesn't matter if I pick the GameCube over the Wii, or I have the GameCube over the PS2 or anything, or the Wii over the 360 or the PS3. Every game system that's ever been released has their own charm, has their own awesomeness that it brings to the table. You know, like the PS2, it had Devil May Cry, it had Max Payne, it had all these other games that were awesome. The Xbox as well, that's what brought Halo to the table, brought Halo in there and Halo 2. And also, that opening screen and title, you know, the opening of the menu screen on the Xbox was awesome. And, you know, Sega Genesis was awesome, the NES, SNES, Atari even. All these systems, it doesn't matter what system is better than the other. Play what you want, but you can't deny video games have come a long way since the early days of the Magnavox Odyssey and the Atari 2600. I mean, shit, we got video games that are lifelike now. They look like they actually came from a movie. Yes, they mostly suck, like EA and Activision. But, I mean, that's what you get, you know? But for every shitty game, there's a mountain of good games out there. And for every good game, there's a mountain of shit. Yin and yang, they go together. Good and bad, good and evil, whatever. Just remember that all 5 of these games, plus the game systems, plus the honorable mentions of these systems, it's just my pick. It's not that I don't like the Atari, or the Sega Genesis, or the Dreamcast, or the Saturn, or the PS3, whatever we're at now. I played the PS4 once, not the actual console, like, I played a demo unit at Walmart, but what I did play the PS4 was amazing. If I had the money, I would so buy it. And I've always kind of been a PlayStation person as well as a Nintendo person. Not as much Xbox, but I don't pick one console person over another. I don't pick Nintendo over Sony. Or I'm not into this whole console war bullshit, Every game system deserves love and respect and awesomeness. So, treat your game systems with respect. That's it for this video, guys and gals. If you like this video, give this video a like. If that's fine too. Don't forget to comment down below your thoughts on the whole damn thing. And don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon down below to get notified of my future uploads and live streams and whatever the fuck else that I do. And as always, I will see you all in the next video. Peace out, people, and brohoof. Boom. Yay! Also, I got to mention one more thing. Halo 4 was the best Halo game ever. Fight me!